Hello and welcome to today's session. Today's practice we are doing myofascial release. So you're going to need a ball, preferably something that's small in size. It's going to help us work into those little niggles and tight spots that sometimes a yoga pose can't quite get. We're focusing on the upper body in particular, so this session might be the perfect desk companion where you release the hands and where we find more space in the shoulders, the chest and the upper back. So come and find a comfortable seat. You're going to need your ball, but for the moment, let's place it to one side. And as you find your comfortable seated position, let's just arrive into our practice together. I invite you to close your eyes down and take a deep breath in. And a soft breath out of the mouth. And let's repeat that once more, breathing in through the nose and breathing out to sigh out of the mouth. And then allow your natural breath to move in and out of the nose. If of course you feel that there's a more appropriate way for you to breathe, if you're feeling congested or the breath feels restricted, just breathe in any way that suits. Let's soften across the shoulders. Just take a brief moment to check in with how we're feeling today. Start to become aware of how the body feels in this moment. And whatever sensations are arising for you, allow yourself to acknowledge them in their entirety with kindness. And allowing your practice to be something that helps you create more physical space, but also connecting to that concept of acceptance and presence. So however you feel now, it is okay. And then I want you to just take a few moments to notice your natural breath. How is the breath moving? Can you notice what parts of the body extend and expand with the breath in? And can you become aware of the areas of the body that soften and retract as you breathe out? So there's this opening and closing of the body. As we move through this practice together, I want to encourage to let that breath be completely natural, so it's not forced. There might be some moments where I direct the breath, otherwise just let your breath move however it wants to move. So from here, I'd like you to bring your attention to your hands and start to rub the palms together. And as you feel the hands rubbing together, start to almost bring in that movement where you're washing the hands. So you start to identify the outer edges of the hands, the lower part of the palm, the thumb pads, every finger, every fingernail, and the webbing between the fingers as well. So rub the hands all over. And we'll also work towards the wrists. So allowing alternate motions So we rub across the wrists, traveling up the forearms a little bit as well. And then we'll shake off the hands. Shake the hands as if you are shaking off water. So it's quite vigorous. Take a deep breath in and a big breath out. And then flick the fingers. So flicking water away from you. Take a deep breath in, big breath out. Then we'll bring our attention a little bit deeper into that palm. So I want you to now grab your ball, and we're placing the ball underneath the right palm. If you want to change your seated position, so we feel as though we've got a little bit more weight or surface area pressing towards the right palm, then that's absolutely fine. And you're going to press your left hand on top of the right and start to move the ball around underneath that right palm. And it's super normal if you find a few tender spots, specific areas of the hand that feel a little clunky or a tenderness like a bruise. So using the ball to identify where the hands hold tension. So this is going to be really helpful if you are, using technology a lot, working on the keyboard, working on the phone, or doing intricate things with the hands. And paint a circle. So you probably have done so already. You've created a little bit more of a surface area. We've freestyled it entirely. So a circular motion, and then I want you to guide the ball like a fan towards the webbing of each finger. So it rolls up and down from the lowest part of the palm to the webbing of each finger. Then pick the ball up, squeeze it tightly, and let go. Squeeze it tightly and let go. One more time, squeeze and release. Let's do the other side. So this time the ball is placed underneath left palm. Press the right hand on top of the left. And again, let's just start to identify what tension we might feel within that left hand. As we know, it's super normal that both sides feel very different. So just give yourself an opportunity to be kind with that approach. If it's indifferent, it's okay. It's very, very normal. And if this side feels tighter for you, or there are more uncomfortable spots, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to push harder to make more space in there. You have to be kinder towards it. So this might mean that you roll it out for longer, but the pressure is less intense. And then we'll circle. And then we'll find that fan-like motion. I've got a really good clunk in this hand. And then I want you to pick up the ball with left hand, squeeze it, let go, squeeze it, let go. One more time, squeeze and let go. Place the ball down. Open and close the hands a few times. They might possibly feel different already, or maybe there's this kind of quality of aliveness in the wrists or the forearms. When I've done workshops, a lot of people's feedback is we recognize the areas of the body that feel dull, that where we haven't done the release. Now let's circle through the wrists with expressive fingers. So that might be a fist. It's quite expressive. Fingers. And just work into the hands as much as you possibly can. Change direction. And then we'll open the arms, push out through the palms, paint a few circles, gently pulling in through the lower ribs and the core. 3, 2, 1. Let's bring the hands down, fingertips to the floor. If you're sitting in a chair, the hands can rest to the edges of the chair. Lift up through left arm for your breath in. And then breathing out, gently extending over to your right hand side. Notice if you can allow your ribs on that left hand side to flare open, visualizing this flare of a fan, broadening from left armpit to left hip. Let's take 2 more breaths. And then bringing yourself back up, left hand lands to the floor. Let's do the other side. So left hand is supportive, right arm lifts for your breath in. Breathing out, softly extending over to the left hand side. Again, we're working into both sides individually, so it's okay if this feels different too. Be kind towards yourself. Flaring the right ribs like a fan, so the armpit and the right hip press apart. Might be almost an invisible sort of tweak to your practice, but you should feel a difference. 2 more breaths. And then inhaling to come all the way up. Release the right hand down. Let's shrug and roll through the shoulders. As you find the movement of the shoulders, sometimes we want to keep it relatively close. I want you to allow the elbows to almost pull and direct the movement. So elbows press out, back, in towards the body. And you might naturally observe how the breath accommodates with the movement. So when you open, there's a breath in. When you breathe out, there's a closing. So go with that. I'd like you to grab your ball again. So when you've released the hands, we're going to grab the ball. And this next movement, we work across the chest. For those of you that feel that the ball is too invasive, then you can use the fingers or the thumbs instead. So if we bring the left hand onto the right hand side of the chest, identify where the collarbone is. If you press the right shoulder or the right elbow forwards, you find that there's a little bit more of an exaggerated dippy bit. That's what I call it within classes when I'm teaching, keeping it real. You'll find that it over exaggerates and you're able to get, a little bit kind of closer towards that area. So just being very mindful of that, we're going to rub, and then you can press in with the fingers. We're going to go up and down the length of the collarbone, and then we're going to go above the collarbone. And if you start to press down with the fingers, so we're not using the ball just yet, with the fingers, you're going to press down the length above the collarbone. Let's do this one more time. And then let's do the other side. So rolling through, gently release it, right hand to left hand side of the chest. Again, having a little bit of a move around. So just observing that when we've got this rubbing action or manipulation with the ball, think about, how you're moving the fabric. You'll feel the fabric move, and if you're then able to do it on the skin or press firmer, you're working with your inner fabric, which is the connective tissues. Identify where the left collarbone is. If you press the left shoulder or left elbow forwards, it should appear a little bit better. And then you're going to rub up and down the collarbone, and then go above the collarbone and stroke down. And there can be a little bit of pressure here. If you're familiar with this sort of technique or release, you can press in. But take it gently, because it might feel really uncomfortable. One more time. And then release left shoulder. Okay, so we're going to grab the ball, and we're starting central towards the chest. So think, find that bony process of the sternum. So we've got the center of the rib cage. And the next movements, they're going to go up and over like a rainbow sort of position. So rather than going directly across the chest area, we're going up and across. And I want us to try and go between the ribs. So this is where sometimes it could be helpful using the fingers instead, because we've got that touch and we can definitely feel what's going on. If we're using the ball, just gently paint a few tiny circles as you start to move across the flesh of the upper chest towards the armpit. And then when you've gone up and out, go back to the center, go a little higher, and then we're going to do it again. Up and over, traveling between ribs. And if you identify, a bony bit, we've got a rib, just be really light with the touch over it. This is very good if you hold a lot of tension across the chest. Again, this could be work related because of our posture, looking down all of the time. When we feel emotionally overwhelmed, you're going to notice that we start to get very kind of closed within our posture. So this is super nice to help you create space. And then we travel to the other side. Remember, there is no rush. And you can always linger on specific bits and parts within our sessions together. So if something resonates, keep doing it. And then when you've done that, place the ball down, roll it through again. Now this is a super good one. This is one that I do every day, regardless of whatever I might be doing. This one is always a go-to. So fingertips are going to press firmly into the chest. It could be hands flat. The bigger the surface area, the better this is. And I'll just describe it before we do it together. So you're pressing in your inner fabric. You've got to fix it there. So you're fixing the muscles and connective tissues literally towards the core of the body. You then breathe in, looking forwards. And then as you breathe out, you purse the lips and the head goes up. You should feel that when you breathe out through pursed lips and the direction of the head goes up, there's a stretch. When you inhale, we come back to center. So let's do it together. We'll do 3. Okay, so eye gaze is forwards, fingers are fixed to the chest. Push them in, breathe in. Breathe out, pursed lips, looking up. Look forwards for your breath in. Breathe out, pursed lips, looking up. Third and final time, looking forwards, breathing in. Breathing out, looking up. And then breathing in to look forwards. Let's release the hands, roll it through. Good. Let's revisit our side bend position. We're going to change where the position of that top hand goes. So right hand is supportive, left arm lifted up for your breath in. Breathe out, reaching over to the right hand side. And then this time I want you to put your left hand behind the back of the head. Even though I want to encourage you to press the head back, be mindful that we're not leaning back, so we've got strong supportive core. Lower ribs are going to pull in as you press the left elbow high and the head and the hand together. 3 breaths. And then lifting it all the way up. We'll roll it through if you feel that you need to. Let's do the other side. So left hand is supportive, right arm lifts for the breath in. Breathing out to extend and reach over to the left hand side. Right hand goes behind the back of the head. Be mindful that the head doesn't lead the rest of the body back, so support through your core. The weight of the pelvis is still very much anchored towards that space beneath you. Elbow goes up, and the head and the hand push together. 3, 2, these are breaths, not seconds. And 1. And then slowly pull yourself all the way up. Roll it through. Let's hug the arms around the chest. Try to grasp fingers towards opposite shoulders, chin to chest, and gently allow the head to lean from one side to the other. Maybe painting a few circles. And then lifting up through the crown of the head, roll the shoulders through. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. This brings us to the end of our very short and sweet practice together today. I hope it was just what you needed. Place the hands towards the heart space. Press the thumbs towards the heart. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, allow the weight of the head to bow in gratitude to just spending a little bit of time to yourself. Opening the eyes, lifting up through the crown of the head. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope I see you soon.